You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, card shop, arcade, theme park, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
Today on the Game Marks podcast, we play Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 3, thanks to Mega Mark NYY Collector. Will this game hold up today? Will we play it forever? Woo! Or future endeavor?
You're fired!
All of this, plus gaming news, Clash at the Feast, and an update on Gameboree 2021. Plug in and put on those nostalgia goggles because this week's Game Marks podcast starts now. And now, the Game Marks!
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast presented by the Major Pod Network. I am Mr. Anything is Feasible, George Feis.
And I'm the man they call Johnny Clash, and today we are playing Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 3 for the PlayStation 1.
And as always, we love to hear from you guys, so please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and make sure to subscribe and rate this podcast wherever you choose to listen. And join in on the conversation on all forms of social media at Game Marks Pod. And check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/GameMarksPod. John, we played WWE Immortals last week, and I gotta tell you something, man. I've been thinking a lot about how cool and kick-ass those costumes are.
Yeah, same actually. And I kept the APK file on my BlueStacks app, and I went back and I dabbled a little bit more. It sucks that the game reached the end of life, and we can't go back and unlock more guys and get the complete roster, do the battle mode. But it's okay. We got out of it what we did back then, I think.
I was thinking about something. In between recording last week and this week, and I was contemplating posting it on social media, but then I figured that it may be a better use of, a little conversation here, and then we can propose it to the listeners. But do you think that kind of style of WWE Immortals with the different costumes and the over-exaggerated appearance of everyone had any effect on 2K Battlegrounds with the cartoonish nature and the over the top appearance and the costumes that are available in that game, or maybe how far down the rabbit hole the 2K series as a whole went with the Bump in the Night DLC and those crazy weird story driven fantastical. You think maybe they used Immortals as the testing grounds for hey, would this kind of thing work in a wrestling game?
It's possible. We didn't really see it that much until then, really, if you think about it. But even from the Mattel zombies and all that, it all stems from this. And I think we've seen since then a lot of crossovers in the wrestling world in general.
Yeah, I just was, you posted the picture on social media of that Stone Cold with the the full portrait of that rattlesnake.
Yeah,
Stone Cold, or he's got the snakes for arms. And then that got me thinking that Randy Orton Viper that's in Immortals is actually, there's in 2K20, in the Bump in the Night DLC, there's the Apex Predator version.
Yes, that's right.
And it's him all snaked up. And I was like, there's got to be some correlation between these two where they use this as a test run or something and just kind of dip their foot in the water.
Yeah, it didn't have a long shelf life, so it's possible they used it for that. But regardless, we both played it forever, and it was a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, what do we got going on this week? What's the schedule?
All right, today you're getting the show ad-free on Patreon. Tomorrow, the show notes on Patreon, along with GMP Game Over. Where are we still playing Showdown 64? Do you have any plans to play something else anytime soon, or are we sticking with it?
We're going to stick with Showdown to the new year. I feel like there's a lot of wrestlers that still kind of have untapped potential there, and we can see all the cool finishers and stuff like that. And, if we keep doing these rumbles, we'll keep seeing a little bit of everything.
I'm excited to do Feel the Bang, the DDP WCW one when we get to that. That one looks really good.
Well, maybe that's next.
I would love that. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, you're getting Future Endeavored on Patreon. Last week, I played Tag Team Wrestling, and you're playing the same. I didn't have that bad of an experience playing this one. It wasn't a terrible game. I say somewhere in there that where I could play pro wrestling probably over and over again because it's just a classic and we love it, where there was just so much to tag team wrestling that could have been drawn out a little bit more, like the roster, the arena could have been a little different, but it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't worth play it forever. So
yeah, I feel like that was one of the early on games where like this kind of walks the line of like, is it gonna be the play it forever future endeavor?
Yeah, it was there, but it wasn't there. Wednesday night, we have Wednesday night's main event with George Feis on twitch.tv/Gamemarks
Hey, that's me.
Pod. Thursday, it's the finale. WWE Day of Reckoning playthrough on our YouTube channel. We made it all the way from the beginning. We were on heat and velocity. We were making it all the way to the main event of WrestleMania. We're in the ring with Shawn Michaels and Triple H and the whole gang, Ric Flair. We really made it to the top, and this is the finale.
Well, I have decided that I'm going to start doing my own little playthrough here. We started doing a playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic live on stream because I happily am carrying the reins now until you are in a more streamable setup.
Oh boy.
Lunchtime heat will not die.
It won't die,
So,
but I don't know if I'm coming back anytime soon.
Hey, you never know. But we've been playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I'm going to start cutting that up, and we're going to be posting that on our Patreon as well. So if you're not able to make it to the lunch stream, we're going to bring those back after the holidays, and we're going to keep it going, and that's going to be like a new little video series that we got going on.
So you're going to put that, you said, on the Patreon?
Not the Patreon, on the YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
Same as you're doing with Day of Reckoning.
And then
I'm just going to do it with Star Wars.
I think when you're done, I was either going to do Wrestle Kingdom, since that's similar in the Day of Reckoning world, or Day of Reckoning 2. So we'll figure out.
I was saying, didn't we say that I was going to sit in for one of them and do watch you play it?
Day of Reckoning 2, we could maybe do that because you haven't experienced it yet.
Yeah.
But all right.
I'm down.
Tell us about the streamer spotlight for the month of December.
Oh, man. Streamer Spotlight. You know him. You love him. He's a friend of the show. He's playing a lot. Jackbox. He's playing Battlegrounds. He's playing Rocket League. He is the star. In my eyes, he is the star of the Figure 4.
Muppets? Oh.
He is. Twitch.tv/Dylan Postel. Mr. Swoggle himself.
Love that guy.
And I don't really think... I don't know if you may have heard, John. I'm kind of building a brand behind your back here. I'm jumping ship.
I see that. You
I'm going to...
Pod the Lope, right? That's what it's called? You and Dylan's new show coming out?
There are three potential options. Broski announced it as Pod the Lope. Swoggle's not really... Swoggle's big on that name. I'm trying to convince him to change it to something a little more his brand. So we'll see what the final name is. That's launching in January. Going to be awesome. Very, very excited about it. But yeah, now I'm a little more involved. The Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, even more so than we are now. And it's cool because John's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes there, making shirts for Broski. And now I'm going to have a little show with Swoggle, so it's pretty cool.
I can't wait for the episode about grilled cheese. But
it's not hot take.
But anyway, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast, where you can watch playthroughs, GMP64, the entire first season, as well as many other goodies. You could even listen to the episode there if you choose. And check out GameMarksPod.com/shop for gamer grips, guitar picks, and other cool Game Marks Podcast merch. Now,
hey, just want to jump in real quick, and also just give you a round of applause, little golf clap, because I don't want to peak the mic too much. You know, you're kind of like the unsung hero for a lot of the shows on the Major Pod Network, and I want to make sure that you're getting your dues because you also were the editor for Majorland.
Rest in peace.
And you also are the editor for Chelsea's podcast. So I want to make sure that people know that the quality of that editing, and I want to make sure that we emphasize editing because John has no control over the microphones.
Hot mess or hot
all
mic?
Of that. All of that. That's the spinoff show.
Oh God.
It's you're in my position and Chelsea's going to be in the Swoggle position, and it's just going to be you and a peaky microphone.
Actually, speaking of Green with Envy, she said last week on the podcast that she was scanned for 2K22, so we're actually not sure if she's going to end up being in the game or not.
I mean, listen, I'm going to give you a little peek behind the curtain here, guys. My goal is to have Chelsea on the podcast because she has also done motion capture for games in the past. So there's a lot that we can talk about with her, her own career, her own experience in the video game world. And now that she's going to be in a video game, it's going to be even better. So we'll see what happens with 2K22, but
yeah, we're unsure.
Mark it down. Chelsea Green's on the list for 2022.
But all right, let's talk about our charity event, Gameboree 2021, where we are raising money to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Are you ready for the numbers? We tally the numbers. Everything's donated after your drum stream, which I was getting the notifications while I was at the Cap Show, and it was just dollar. They just kept coming. I was like, oh my God, I need to turn my emails off. But thank you to everyone that came on board and made George play Aliens exist, because that was my entertainment for the day. But our current number, we are at $1,618. And now, at the time of recording, we have not yet done. I'll say this, since this comes out Monday. Yesterday in the podcast world is the GMP64 Super Show. We have not done that yet. So we'll talk about that next week, and maybe we'll get more donations so people can make more matches for that.
Yeah, and that's still not over, because Gameboree really doesn't end until we have our big blow-off event, Game Marks Mania, which this year will be taking place after the holidays, January 2nd.
And that's kind of the cap off of the event.
Yeah, so and you know what? We're going to break some news here. The month of December for Clash at the Feast will be decided at Game Marks Mania, January 2nd. The list of games that we played this month, there weren't a ton of options. While they were great games, we had a lot of fun playing them. There weren't a lot of opportunities for us to, I don't know, what's the word? Go head to head in those games. So we decided to kind of follow the trend of last year, where we decided December live during Game Marks Mania. So January 2nd, December, we cap off the year of 2021 with, who knows, maybe John taking another month, or maybe me increasing my lead, and we start the year on the right foot by ending it with a charity stream. So we hope to see all of you January 2nd for Game Marks Mania. But I think right now, John, I got to get some gaming news here.
You do, but I do also have to say, if you're a Patreon subscriber and you watch the Happy Holidays vlog, me and the Elder Spork, who is from Best Batch Promotions, who is supplying the prizes for this year, we kind of unveiled them. We went through them. He brought them to me. I got Broski to sign that belt, so it is now signed by Matt and Brian. And listen, these are Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder's signatures on the Red Raw Tag Team Commemorative Title Belt. It looks so nice. I wish I could keep it for myself, as well as a ton of signed prints and 8x10s. Check that out if you can. But gaming news, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you looking to get a better grip on life? How about your video games? Well, VGF Gamers are the largest silicone gaming brand in the USA. They have a variety of different and unique skins for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controllers and consoles. Check out their products at VGFgamers.com and use code GameMarks to receive 15% off your order at checkout. That's GAMEMARKS at checkout. VGF Gamers. Better grip, better style.
A mobile version of Call of Duty Battle Royale seems to be on the way in 2022. Industry insider Tom Henderson, and we know you've heard that name before, shared that game has been added to the Playtest Cloud database. In a follow-up tweet, Henderson stated that the Playtest Cloud said the listing was based on an assumption, but the insider seems skeptical that it's actually the case. As with any rumor, readers might want to take this with a grain of salt for now, but will we be seeing a mobile Battle Royale Call of Duty game? Now, amidst the rumors and speculation that Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to be at the Game Awards 2021 with a new trailer before it was pulled and replaced with a trailer for the new Wonder Woman game, a new rumor about the Harry Potter game has surfaced with some good news for fans of the series. Right now, there's still no word when exactly the game will release, but that could be changing soon. taking to Twitter leaker ACC-NGT, who recently leaked image of the Star Wars Eclipse before it was announced, noted things got moving for Hogwarts Legacy today. What does this mean? Will it mean that the leaker is expecting a new trailer very soon? Now, Ubisoft has made Rayman Origins on Ubisoft Connect PC free for everybody, no strings attached. Unfortunately, if you're on console, you're out of luck, but the game will be available on PC until December 22nd, and then it will return to its normal price point. And that's all the gaming news we have this week. Check back next week.
Now, I was under the impression that there was already a Call of Duty mobile game.
So I think it's just going to be a new version that's closer to the thing you're actually getting on your console or PC.
Yeah, so like exactly what you said, like how Fortnite was a one-to-one and not so much how the current version of it is like a smaller version of the Warzone, or how PUBG has its own like PUBG mobile thing, which is like a separate thing entirely.
Right. So I think it's just going to be closer to like the real thing. But the mobile has a decent multiplayer right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I've ever given it a shot, but I mean, hey, stranger things have happened, man. Sometimes these mobile games are surprising.
Yeah, but this Rayman news got me a little excited because that was one of my absolute favorite Game Boy Advance games. So I might have to check that out. I got another week.
Okay.
But all right, we talked about Gameboree. We talked about the gaming news. Are we ready to spin the wheel and see who's getting the gamer grips this week?
Oh, let's do it. It's time for the mark out moment of the week.
What's up, Game Marks? Are you trying to look your best while repping your favorite video game podcast duo? We know just the place. Head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod to pick up your favorite GMP designs, including our various logo tees, Future Endeavor, the classic NES Pro Wrestling style tee, and of course, Mark the F Out. Order today and receive a phone call from us. You never know who will pop in. That's ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod. Play it forever.
All right, so the mark out moment of the week is a weekly segment that we use to highlight our community for the Game Marks podcast. Now, John has been doing these awesome graphics, posting them to social media. We've seen the likes of Soups and his holiday game collection with his awesome light that he won last year as the grand prize for Gameboree. Then most recently, we just talked about him. Best Batch Promotions, the Elder Spork was the mark out moment last week for his big Boss Man collection.
It just keeps growing. I don't know why he has it, but he has it.
Straight out of Cobb County, Georgia. No repaints in that collection, baby.
Yeah, and if you want to share your collection with us, whether it's anything game related, just collection related, send it over to us. We are happy to share it as the mark out moment of the week.
Oh, absolutely.
But right now, as we've been doing the past 3 weeks, we are going to spin the wheel with the names of everyone who has donated to Gameboree, and one lucky person is going to get a pair of gaming grips. Are you ready?
I am ready, John. Spin that wheel.
All right, here we go. We're spinning. It's making a little clicky noise like Wheel of Fortune. And the winner is Mr. Thursday Night Flea Market himself, Aaron Ortiz, who donated.
Are you ready?
He donated on behalf of the entire flea market that was able to, do like a little 10% that night. So now he's going to get a nice pair of gamer grips. And like I said last week, if you won this already, we're going to send these all out at the end. So be patient.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations, Aaron Ortiz. But John, does that mean it's time?
It's time. Are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready. I can't believe that it's time for this. Let's do the deep dive.
What's up, Marks? We are proud to announce our newest partnership with NordVPN.
Protect your privacy from prying eyes with military-grade encryption and NordVPN. Are you sick of getting targeted ads after looking up a product or talking about it once? Whether you want to maximize your streaming services, get better protection while working from home, or just want an added layer of security while browsing the internet, NordVPN is an easy and affordable way to protect access to your personal data.
Visit GameMarksPod.com/VPN to get more information and try NordVPN risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee.
Protect your information, reduce your digital footprint, and feel safer on the internet, all with NordVPN. All right, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 3, released March 26, 1998, developed by Yuke's, published by Tomy, and there is a wide array of games that are out in 1998. You've got All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling for the PlayStation. You've got New Japan Pro Wrestling Toukon Road Brave Spirits for the N64. New Japan Pro Wrestling Toukon Road 2, The Next Generation for the N64. WCW Nitro for the PlayStation, N64, and Windows. WCW NWO Revenge for the N64. And Warzone for the Game Boy, PlayStation, and N64.
Not a big showing from the WWF this year, huh?
No, but let me tell you, man, this is quite a spread. A lot of these games we've played, and it's got a little bit of everything. You've got the Warzone style of acclaimed games in there. You've got the AKI THQ from Revenge. You've got Nitro that's throwing its hat into the mix.
Unfortunately.
You've got 4 Japan wrestling games.
Yeah, this
covering
is,
covering Joshi, covering Toukon Road 1 and 2, covering the Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling series. Like, this is, when you look at the grand scheme of things, this is kind of a stacked year for just overall console releases.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one, I will say, is one of the highlights. I mean, I'm putting this obviously above Nitro, but not as on par as like Revenge, but it's just under there. It's almost there.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
But let's get started here because Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 3, it's the last installment on the PlayStation 1 of the Toukon Retsuden series. It obviously was preceded by the Toukon Retsuden 2, which we have not played yet, but we did play the first one, and I believe we liked it. We actually both played it forever, and this is the one episode that I have asterisked because you flipped. So the next episode, you actually changed, which is a big no-no, but we let you do it. But now you got a little asterisk next to play it forever here.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah.
It's one. It's. Let's do that. It's one a year. You get one flip, and I used it.
No, you got to go with your first instinct.
And then I'm gonna go flip back to the first year, and I'm gonna un Future Endeavor Day of Reckoning.
Yeah. Okay. But like the other ones, this one still maintains its polygon graphics as usual. A big actual move selection, which we found very, very interesting. Smooth
animations aren't bad either.
Smooth game controls, which are kind of close to what we're used to with like the THQ AKI series. It's almost there. It is Yuke's after all. Again, you get the 3D graphics, but they're also a little bit cartoony, a little under-exaggerated, I guess. Like, we noticed some of the scales might be a little bit off on some of the wrestlers, but that's okay. That's what we're used to in these games back then. And very similar in the playstyle and the overall appearance from the first 2 games.
It's hard. So, like, it's cartoony. Not sponsored by Blue Chew. It's weird because, like, they're cartoony, but at the same time, it's a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it cartoony because it was intentionally cartoony, or is it cartoony because it's the best that they could do at the time?
I think it's the best they could have done at the time. But then you look at Warzone that came out the same year, and we always put those graphics over of Warzone and Attitude of what they were actually capable of doing. And then you have Nitro, which, not the best game, not a bad-looking game.
No, but I would argue and say that this is on par with, like, say like a Resident Evil or Dino Crisis or something.
Absolutely.
Like, this is on par with those,
The
like,
background characters of Spyro.
Yeah, they're okay. It's not the best, but as far as other games that are out on this console, they're by no means the worst graphics that you've ever seen.
No, but let's read the product description of this game from the catalogs, because it says production and improved graphics and more realistic. Now, keep in mind, this is translated, so it might not make complete sense. Other organizations, including 39 players, have appeared. Edit mode is also possible to create a new wrestler with the original roster, warm the hearts of wrestling fans to the game mode, expand the range of play.
I love it.
Yeah, so...
What more could you ask for in a video game description, John? Really?
Right, so it is actually, compared to the first two, I guess a little more realistic, because look back at like the first one we played, Toukon Retsuden, the first one. Very smooth graphics, very colorful, very flat. This one at least had more dimension. Like we played as Scott Steiner. The colors were great. Colors were popping off the screen. The arena itself looked great. We didn't get that in the first two games. It was nice, but it wasn't as good as this. I think they really did improve it.
Yeah, I just, it's so weird. So like, I like when we play the game series because you get a nice lay of the land, kind of like you get a feel for the process. We're kind of skipping two in this series.
We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. But it's definitely it definitely feels smoother. You mentioned that earlier. The animations feel smoother. The moves feel, I don't know, more intentional. It's not just like it feels more like a wrestling game. There was one thing that really was just kind of weird that we kept mentioning throughout our playthrough for the Clash at the Feast this week, and then just even in our solo playthroughs, it was just like reversals can happen, but
they're a little
not,
awkward.
Yeah, it's more so you have to kind of anticipate what move your opponent's going to do and hit the opposite.
And
if they're going to go for a grapple,
move.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like
they're
a
going to go
tier
for a strike,
system.
you have to beat them to it with a grapple. If they're going to grapple, you got to beat them to it with a strike.
Right, and a lot of Japanese games always have, you can see it in Fire Pro still today, the weak grapple, strong grapple on different buttons with the strike and run button. So it's very simple, very easy to just pick up and go. And we notice all of the top trigger buttons are all taunt, which let's point this out now, because I don't want to wait to get to the roster and then forget about it. The Great Muta does the green mist, and I did it right away in the match.
It's a taunt. It's not even a move. It's a taunt.
But my opponent, whoever George picked, I don't remember. I think it was Norton or something. His face stayed green the entire match. It was so cool.
Which is so weird when you think about the fact that No Mercy has the mist as a finisher, but you get no mist and no like paint on the face.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. Their efforts went somewhere else in that game. Maybe then you're not getting Mae Young. Are you?
Okay.
Are you willing to sacrifice Mae Young for mist?
Yes.
Okay.
Get rid of Linda McMahon and give me mist.
I don't know about that. All right, why don't you take us through these game modes here?
All right, so your game modes are, you've got single and tag matches, 3-player tournament, 4-player battle royal, 10-man team tournament, which is a 5 versus 5 elimination match. And by using the match types, you can change the weight class and make some special exhibition matches.
You better say that, right?
Defend. Yeah, you make some special exhibition matches. You could defend titles or put together a tournament. And it's all the things that you expect from these Japanese styles of games, where it's just, you've got your normal play styles, your normal game modes, and then they kind of do like one extra. There is also the bread and butter, as we like to say, of this game, which is the Burning Spirits Challenge. Now, there is also a creative mode where you are able to create 13 original wrestlers and Yeah, this is, again, something that is different from, I don't know, different is the right word, but it's not something that you would expect to be able to do at this time outside of a Fire Pro game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't have this in Nitro. You don't have this in Revenge. You don't get this till
you can edit costumes in Revenge.
Yeah,
you
but that's not the same.
Yeah,
But
like if you wanted to put Kevin Nash in Ravens gear, you could do that.
I don't want to do that. But this is, it's not like the drawn out edit mode that we know, or even like the Fire Pro one. This is pretty simple. It's not much to it.
Wait, Fire Pro's not the drawn out one?
No. I'm saying this is very simple. It's a very simple one. No, I mean, the older Fire Pro ones aren't really drawn out.
Yeah, they can be. I feel like they added more stuff as time went on.
Yeah,
but, yeah, it's there's a little something for everybody, and it's nice when a game has that. This definitely feels like a what I feel like we always say this, where it's just like they didn't put features in a game for the sake of being like, this game has this features. Like a lot of the things and a lot of the modes and features in this game feel purposeful. Like same with the animations and like the graphic style. Like they knew the sense of the hardware that they were working with because they had already made 2 other games for the console, and they were like, okay, here we go. Let's build upon it without straining the console. And you know what I'm saying? Like it was
I'm just letting you go.
A purpose behind it. Do you agree with me, or am I just?
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. No wasted movements here.
Yeah. All right, but I think it's time, John. I'm very excited for this one because I'm going to make you.
I knew you were, and yeah.
Let's go through that roster.
All right, your roster for Toukon Retsuden 3: Antonio Inoki, Tatsuji, already messing up. Tatsumi Fujinami, Riki Choshu, Shinya Hashimoto, Kensuke Sasuke, Osamu Kido, Junji Harada, Osamu Nishimuro, Satoshi Kojima, Manubo Nakanishi, Taduo Yosuda, Joshin Thunder Liger, El Samurai, Wild Pegasus, Chris Benoit, Black Tiger, Eddie Guerrero, Kendo Kashin, Koji Kanemoto, Shinjiro Otani, Tatsuhuri, Tatsuhito Takaiwa, Power Warrior Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, Young Antonio Inoki, I think that's who you picked, Saiji Sadaguchi, Young Battle Liger, Super Strong Machine, Young Babyface Chono, Unmasked Liger, Masahiro Chono, Kaiji Muto, The Great Muda, Scott Norton, Hiroyoshi Tenzen, Shiro Koshinaka, King Kenjo Kimura, Yoshiaki Fujiwara, The Great Sasuke, Super Delphin, Shinzaki, I know that one. That one's just hard to say. Naoya Ogawa, Kazuo Yamazaki, Tiger King, and Tiger Mask. I'm glad we ended easy on that one. Woo.
Hey, has this is something that I have never considered or like thought of. Has Kishin Liger ever been in a game?
I don't know. I guess no. I don't know. I honestly can't say. We might not have gotten that far yet.
Liger is in so many games that we have played, and when we go through the roster, we usually cover like the multiple versions of wrestlers and stuff. I don't think that we have ever come across Unmasked, Fury, Rage, whatever version of Liger you want to call it. I don't think we've ever come across it.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, now that you're saying it, now that I'm like looking it up, no, definitely not.
Huh. I wonder why.
I would love to do one of our next like playthroughs of either Liger or like maybe even like Scott Norton, Kaiji Moto. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with that. I mean, Liger might be a tough one. just because there's probably like 700 games that he's been in.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it fun. That's why the Road Warriors notes are taking us way longer than expected.
You know how many WWE games he's been in? 2.
Which ones was he in?
He was in DLC for 2 years.
For what?
Well, 1 year was when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So he was into the DLC for the Hall of Fame that they do for the 2K series. And I think he was in, maybe it's just 1.
I can't even think, honestly, of any he's been in, but...
No, he's in 2K 17?
Yeah?
16? Let's see. Jushin Liger, WWE Hall of Fame. Liger goes in 2020.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to go in, and it, never happened.
Oh. He's in a game. I know that.
I don't know.
I swear he was in. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm going to look it up, but if anyone could figure that out, or if they know...
I could have sworn.
I don't think that he's been in a WWE game. Because when? When do you think that opportunity would even come around?
See, for some reason in my head, I thought he went into the Hall of Fame. Maybe that's just the time frame that the last 2 years have been. For me, it feels like he went in years ago.
Well, hey, there's always a chance that he could be in this year's game.
I genuinely thought that it was around the time that he had his NXT match with Sami Zayn.
No, that was 2015, I think, right?
Yeah, and that
was
I thought
against
that he was in
Tyler Breeze.
No. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of Nakamura.
Oh.
No, but Liger came in. I thought that it was part of it. Like he was coming in and that was a part of his DLC announcement. Yeah, well, maybe I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
All right, let's talk about this artwork because you did such a good job reading that roster, and then I went off on a Liger tangent for 20 minutes.
All right, so we got the Tomy logo, as we've grown to see with some of these games here. Antonio Inoki, like we said in Clash at the Feast, it's kind of funny. We've been playing through the evolution of his age in these games.
Yeah, you could tell what year the game came out in by what Inoki you're getting.
But the cover we're looking at right now, and I think this is the main cover, the bottom text that's in Japanese, I just translated, and it says Antonio Inoki Retirement Memorial Limited Edition cover.
Oh. Yeah, maybe they just did it as the whole thing is a tribute.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. They kind of dedicated this game to him, but as we've known from listening in the past, he's been in a lot of games since, and even though he retired, he looks way different, and he's still in these games, and we tend to use him a lot, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he is essentially...
a powerhouse.
I'm trying to think who did you pick the time that I was... Were you Muda? Or was I Muda and you were Inoki?
You were Inoki. I was...
Scott Norton?
I was either Scott Norton or... Yeah, Scott Norton, because then the second one I was Scott Steiner.
It's just... I feel like this is a trend. I always pick Inoki, and you always go Norton in these games.
Scott Norton's the best. But all right, back to the back of this.
No argument here.
The back of this, I translated it, but we have 4 screenshots. We have a submission hold, a German suplex. It looks like maybe an STO and a double power bomb. And that double power bomb animation we've seen many times in all of our favorite games now, like AKI Evolution, Showdown 64, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000. We love that animation. Mm-hmm. Now the top translates to Fighting Spirit, Be Eternal. Shiba Secret 3, but I think that's Toukon Retsuden 3. The originator of Polygon Wrestling of the Blockbuster series, introducing a new work with more power. Not only has the 60 frame mode been realized, but the game production has also been improved, making the fight even more realistic. That's a good translation.
Yeah.
There are 39 players, including other groups, Further, I think that means promotions. Further editing that allows you to freely create original wrestlers. The mode is also installed. The quality of the tag battle inherited from the previous work is also healthy. The game mode that is perfect for expanding the range of play will surely heat the hearts. I guess that's warm the hearts of professional wrestling fans. So kind of what we read before. And it takes 3 to 15 memory card blocks. Remember having to clear out space because you wanted another No Mercy, what's it called? Warzone slot. You wanted to start another little career mode, Shawn Michaels. You had to clear out some space. You wanted Spyro the Dragon.
Remember back in the day they had those fun little icons? And you could go in and like sometimes there were Easter eggs and stuff. And you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that this was like this.
And then they just like poof into the air. They were gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
sometimes it was sad when they were like actual like little characters. You're like, no.
Yeah. I say that, but now I can't even fit like a Call of Duty update on my PlayStation without an external, so they just got more expensive.
This is the world that we're living in.
But let's talk about the actual art style of the game, because I think that visually it was nice when you're in the ring, but when you look like outside the ring, the crowd was kind of non-existent, and once you looked past like the first few rows, there was nothing behind it, just kind of flashing lights. And the same with, while there's no entrances, the entrance stage itself is just kind of like a lit up blur.
I'm trying to. For me, the thing that stood out the most was first zoom out.
Yeah,
like when like right before the match starts. That I think is when the graphics are the worst.
Yes, and
then it kind of pans in, and you get. I'm trying to think. It's like World Tour-esque.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. They do have the introductions like most Japanese games do, with the same ref that we normally see with Red Shoes. But the menu screen here is actually pretty nice. It's kind of a more drawn-out version of the cover, more Antonio Inoki screenshots in there. And let's talk about the opening FMV quick, because there's a lot of guys in there that are not even in this game. There's Surfer Sting.
So misleading.
What?
So misleading.
Yeah, there's Surfer Sting. There's Hogan. There's the Road Warriors.
Fake Sting.
Jeff Farmer, right? Because Surfer Sting. NWO, Jeff Farmer, Sting. It's everyone that you want in this game, and then you just can't find them because they're not here. I read the roster. Those are not the same guys.
You know what? Maybe you should go back and do it again.
I think I'm good. But speaking of a little rosters and title screens, you can get an alternate title screen by pressing L1, R1, left, circle, select, and then hold circle. It's a nice little new compilation of photos, but you could also get an extra edit options like new music or different music selection. And there's also a code to play as Battle Liger, Super Strong Machine, Tiger Mask, and Young Chono.
Here's something that I don't know if we've ever really touched on throughout our years of doing this podcast. Alternative title screens were like a big thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Like a lot of games had like more than you think.
I want to say WCW versus the World had one. I could be wrong, but I kind of remember a PlayStation WCW game possibly having one.
Yeah, I think they were all over the place because it was just like a quick little, like if you started the game and you held like start, select, up, and triangle, you would get a unique or alternative title screen. Like they were everywhere, and it's like such a simple little Easter egg to do. They were absolutely everywhere. But we've talked about the title screen and the cheats. We've talked about the graphics. You have a question to ask me, John?
Are you aware? No, wait. Did you know? Did you know Toukon Retsuden 3 was released in arcades for the Namco System 12 hardware in December of 1997? It only featured 10 out of the 39 wrestlers.
Are you aware? Did you know the next installment of Toukon Retsuden series comes out in 1999 for the greatest console name in the history of consoles, the Wonder Swan, followed by Toukon Retsuden 4 for the Dreamcast.
Did you know Toukon Retsuden 3 is on eBay for around $10 to $22 used, $199 brand new with the guide and poster book going for $20. Now,
and that was Are You Aware?
now I have screenshots here of the book. It's pretty cool. Of course, Inoki on the cover. With see, they kind of fed into this whole NWO thing because there's actual pictures inside of like Scott Hall, Six, Kevin Nash, like the full NWO, Ted DiBiase, Buff Bagwell, like all of them there in Japan, but they're not in this game. So interesting.
Can you imagine if they were, though?
It would be way better. I mean, Jeff Farmer is on the cover of this.
Just, crazy stuff.
Yeah, kind of weird though to advertise it all and it's just not there. But we could definitely use the guidebook while we were playing because it was anything goes.
Different times, man.
Yeah.
But I think it's time, John. Are you ready? Are you ready to put on that very relaxing music because it is now time for the ratings and reviews.
All right, we'll start with the Game FAQ user rating. The users rate this good with a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The difficulty 3 out of 5 for toughness. And the length played is normally around 8 hours. Now, Glitchwave rates this a 2 out of 5. And Honest Gamers with a 6.6 average out of 10. So this kind of ranges from decent to okay to not that good. So I don't know how to really agree with these, but I do tend to lean more towards the user ratings, even though they're rating this now. They could be rating this now. They could have rated this 2 years ago, for all I know, not in 1998.
Yeah.
But I rather listen to actual people
right.
than like an aggregator.
Well, because there's the politicking that goes into it and all that. And,
Yeah, and if you have one guy writing a review, you now have 19 people giving a grade.
Yeah.
And
no argument here.
That's what leads to those decimal points you like. So,
well, talked about everyone else's ratings, but you think it's time for us to give the most important ratings of all, at least on the Major Pod Network?
of course, because it's time to rate the game.
The game!
George Feis, I'm cutting you off. I'm hitting you first. Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 3. Will you play it forever?
Woo!
Or future endeavor?
You're fired!
That's a big Texas-sized play it forever for me.
Woo!
Wow. Okay.
I do have one complaint about this game.
Yeah.
There's no finishers.
No, so that's something we didn't touch on. There's called rush mode, where when you're losing, your name starts blinking and you get up quicker. You could do bigger moves, but there's no actual finishers in this game. And it was like said that in Japan there were no finishers back then, like no signature moves. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was more of that like rush burst where you hit.
And there was like gold combos you could get. It was very different.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a fun one. It was enjoyable on solo playthrough. It was enjoyable when we played, and that's all it takes. That's an easy player forever. But now I turn the spotlight to you, John. Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukon Retsuden 3. Will you play it forever or future endeavor?
I might shock you here, but I'm gonna future endeavor this game.
You're fired!
Oh, I am shocked.
So we both played it forever on the first one, and I liked the first one. I just didn't think this one just had like enough meat on the bone to keep playing it. It had a good roster.
Okay.
It had okay graphics, but I think I would skip it. That's what it comes down to. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
It did nothing for me. It was nice. It played well. Don't hate it. Yeah, future endeavor.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Understandable.
And there were times during our playthrough where I went back and forth, like, do I like this? I don't know. But overall, I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it for you to play.
Okay. Sounds good. That's going in my collection.
All right, but George, I think it's time to talk about what we're playing next week on the podcast. And next week, Brett Van, you're up because his game is on Steam. Wrestling Spirit 3.
Yeah, Wrestling Spirit 3. Developed by Grey Dog Software, published by Viva Media, and yeah, just like John said, it's here, I'll read you the Steam little blurb here. Take control of the career of a professional wrestler, guiding him through the world title wins, the tough matches, and the rivalries. Control matches, negotiate contracts, manage personal finances, navigate backstage politics, and more in this text-based pro wrestling role-playing simulation. Now, there is Wrestling Spirits 1 and 2. They are available for free to download from Grey Dog Software's website. But
we'll get those eventually.
We were given the task of playing the third one. Now, just based on the images that I've seen in my research going into this game, this looks like it's just going to be like a more modern day version of EWR, which, if you know anything about the Major Pod Network, you know that is a game that was talked about very frequently on Rest in Peace, Off the Hop Rope. Not dead, just on hiatus till, I don't know.
Never.
Whenever Mark's
They
not
are,
in AEW
Mark and Troy
anymore.
are doing an episode when the Goon figure comes out, and they're going to watch Goon matches.
I gotta tell you, I'm kind of pumped for that.
Yeah, it's good to see them back. But
What's on tap?
But oh, that was terrible. But all right, that's what we're playing next week.
That's Troy. That's what Troy does when
I know.
when Mark used to make him do it.
Well, it's probably better than his dropkick. But take us home.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us this week on the Game Marks Podcast. Please check out all of our merchandise, GameMarksPod.com/shop. And join us on Patreon, patreon.com/GameMarksPod. The best way besides listening to support the podcast, and be sure to follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. Leave us a review and a rating, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to wherever great podcasts can be found. John, I'll tell you something, man. Kind of excited for the next couple weeks here. Good games, couple events, off the heels of GMP 64 Super Show. The sky's the limit. Who knows what 2022 is going to hold for the Game Marks Podcast. Take us home. Do that thing. Say goodbye. Whatever it is.
Game over, Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.